I
Right.
think if people read, for instance, the story on why we don't have universal health care,
Ugh.
what it shows is that racism doesn't just hurt black people, but there are millions of white people in this country who are dying, who are sick, who are unable to pay their medical bills because we can't get past the legacy of slavery.
That was insane. We don't have universal health care because of slavery. All right, let's see what she says.
This affects all Americans, no matter if you just got here yesterday, if your family's been here 200 years, no matter what your race are. Our inability to deal with this original sin is hurting all of us, and this entire country is not the country that it could be because of it.
So just connect that dot. What is the connection between universal health care and slavery?
Well, what we know is that white support for universal programs declines if they think that large numbers of black people are going to benefit from it.
That's not true. There's absolutely no data to suggest that.
And this is a sentiment that goes all the way back to right after the end of the Civil War, when the Freedmen's Bureau started.
That's her data? That's her data. Is she jumping back to the Civil War to talk about modern day universal health care?
Universal health care for people who had literally just come out of bondage.
So she clearly doesn't understand how white people think at all, and she clearly doesn't understand economics. Because the reason why we don't have universal health care isn't because of racism. The reason why we don't have it is because it's literally unaffordable. Like Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan would cost $32 trillion, right? And that's on top of a $30 trillion debt we already have. Like, think about over just the past 2 years, the amount of inflation we'd be going through due to the COVID crisis, right? If you were to put on another $32 trillion onto our debt, the amount of money you'd have to print to be able to pay for it would cause inflation to run so rampant that we'd have to hike interest rates to levels that would cause an economic recession, right? Like, we wouldn't be able to pay for anything. There would be such a bad economic recession that people would lose their jobs, they wouldn't get health care, it would just be a disaster.